4x4 electronic. All right, let's get into this. Generic electronic module receives inputs, controls transfer case shift. This is, by the way, the 4x4 electronic. Which test number is this?
10.
Somebody, yeah, 10. Drivetrain test 10. There we go. Make sure I got my copy of it up here like that. Okay, now look at this. Controls transfer case shift operation based on inputs received. Controls all automatic four-wheel drive operation. Is located within the instrument panel. This right here is short and sweet with not a lot of words and lots of pictures, right? Okay, now look at all this. You understand this? You got inputs and you got outputs. What is item number 10 in there?
Number 10?
That's the gem module. Okay, what is the, on the top left, what do we have up there? On the top left.
Actuator?
Huh?
I don't know.
Thing.
Coolant temperature sensor.
What I like about that, let me see if I can zoom in on that a little bit. So we can see it. All right, so, and I think I might be able to use this right here to trigger it. Okay, so this right here, the top left is going to be the transfer case motor. You got me?
Okay.
There's a motor on the transfer case that operates the transfer case. And I've got an electronic transfer case over there that you guys can tear apart, put back together, and understand how that works a little better. Okay, now that right there is going to be a, what do you think of that is?
A vacuum thingy?
That ain't going to be a speed sensor?
Okay.
Now what about number 5? That's difficult to see, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about number 7?
That's the actual shifter.
That's a switch.
Yeah.
Number 9?
I thought that was a speed sensor.
That is the output shaft sensor, but you've also got another speed sensor up in there. What about this top? What about number 2? Transmission range sensor, right?
Yes.
What about number 4? Tell me about number 4. Throttle position sensor. You should know that. What about number 6?
I didn't see the 3 wires.
Yeah. Number 6? What do you think?
Map sensor.
Stoplight switch.
Ah.
Got it? And what about number 8?
Can we just go over that?
All right, over on the other side, see that little module, number 12, number 13, see that? All right, let me see if I can shoot that. All right, let's see how well we get. See those? Shift motor sense plate.
The gem module.
Digital transmission range sensor. Basically, they were talking about that. Front output shaft speed sensor. See, that wants to know how fast the front drive shaft's turning. It's important, isn't it? Okay. Throttle positions, rear output shaft, brake pedal, four-wheel drive mode switch, clutch pedal position sensor. That's hard to recognize from the stupid drawing. Vehicle speed sensor, generic electronic module, electronic shift motor relay, vacuum shift solenoids, torque on demand, four-wheel drive indicator light, four-wheel drive indicator light, low-wheel drive indicator, you know. All right, now here you got electric shift motor, drives a rotary cam that moves one shift fork to select between low and high range. Transfer case is typically one of the simplest things you'll work on. What I like to do, if I've got one that won't go in four-wheel drive, when you push the four-wheel high button, you know, I want to put it in the condition where it will, pull the motor off the case, look at it, operate it, and see if it moves. Got me? A lot of times it's like a glorified wiper motor because it's got some contacts in there. It's kind of like your park switch on a wiper motor so that the module will know where it is, so it'll know where it wants to put it. And, hey, where is Joe? Oh, okay, he's over there. I don't know how long he's gonna be in there. That guy was asking about his truck. Are we doing okay with that or what?
Oh, yeah.
You're finished with it?
He's got it flushing.
Yeah, we need to get it all. Get that machine over and get it hooked up. Okay. All right, so right here, shift motor sense plate is built into the motor and it informs the generic electronic module of the shift position of the transfer case. The 4x4 shift motor relay is a module containing 2 solid state relays. It's controlled by the gem. If you hear those things operate, they'll go tick, 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 tick. That's how they sound when they operate. Controls power of the shift motor between the different transfer case modes, front and rear output shaft sensors, 3-wire Hall effect. What is a Hall effect? What's the difference between an Hall effect sensor and an analog sensor? Who knows? Hall effect is going to give you a square wave. Analog is going to give you one of these. What's the difference? Because if an analog sensor, if you're spinning the shaft really slow, it barely makes any sort of movement. but the Hall effect is gonna be on, off, and even if the shaft is barely turning, you're gonna get a signal you can use. That's why they use Hall effect on that. And I gotta hurry up because Bobby's turning into a skeleton over there. Yep. These signals are sent to the gem to indicate front and rear output shaft speeds. It needs to know, see, it needs input so it knows what's going on. In an automatic four-wheel drive, it senses the difference between the input and output shaft speeds. Clutch coil duty cycles increase till the output shafts are turning at the same speed. Now what it does, see, the one, remember I told you about the other day whenever I had these Aerostars that the Ford used to make out of transfer case and all of the hardware, but nothing inside where you could control the four-wheel drive. And if you had wheels in the back that were spinning, it would pick up on the difference in those speeds and it would automatically put it in four-wheel drive so you'd have all-wheel drive when you needed it. Pretty handy. And that's what this is talking about. The clutch coil, which it looks like an AC clutch, doesn't it? And it's in the transfer case. It's good, and now that's good because it can actually just pull in and you know, on the fly. That's one of the reasons they do that. The gem control magnetically pulls the armature against the cam coil housing, is located inside the transfer case on the rear cover. It's power side switched. What does that mean? What is it?
A high side controller.
Yeah, basically you got, it's hardwired to ground and it puts power in there instead of grounding it. Got me? So it's always grounded. Gem controls the clutch coil through torque on demand relay. And incidentally, we usually ground side switch things because it makes less of a spark. Whenever you turn off and on the ground, it doesn't spark as bad as it is if you turn the power side off and on. The gem controls the clutch coil through the torque on demand relay. When the gem activates the solid state relay, battery voltage is applied to the clutch coil. Here's a digital transmission range sensor. There's 4 switches in there. And you guys understand binary code, right? So binary code is what it uses. So it's basically got, and you remember last time in transmission when I had you guys hook the breakout box up and you had the digital transmission range sensor and you're going through the various different ranges and you had to put your ones and zeros and do the math to see what the rate, what the value was. Same deal here is basically, what's really screwy is some of the software on the scan tools doesn't know if there's an analog or a digital transmission range sensor on that particular year model and it'll give you all kind of screwball reading. But anyway, that's another story. Sends a signal to the gem for transmission shift position. The gem uses it to determine when the transmission is in neutral, so you can shift it to, you know, in and out of the four-wheel low. When you're driving along, you don't want to go into four-wheel low on the fly, because that's liable to be a catastrophic failure, right? Epic fail. Located on the manual lever on the left-hand side of the transmission. TP sensor sent to the gem for the powertrain control module. See, the powertrain control module picks this up, and then it relays the information to the generic electronic module, and it uses the information to increase clutch coil duty cycle under heavy load or off throttle conditions with a vehicle speed above 30 miles an hour. So it's used in the automatic four-wheel drive gem strategy on some vehicles. Clutch pedal position switch is only used on manual transmission. It allows the engagement. It's kind of like neutral on a, you know, when you got the clutch mashed on there. Brake pedal position switch is used as an input to the gem to allow engagement or disengagement of four-wheel drive low. You got your foot on the brake, you know, that helps too. They like that. Now look at this multiplexing. Vehicle speed sensor. Some of them are hardwired from a sensor. Some are hardwired from another module. Some of them are just getting it off the network, basically. Now, some of these vehicles have got like 100 controllers on it that are all talking on the same network. And you guys will have to be able to fix those, right? Figure it out. The vehicle speed signal is used as an input to the gem, and it now stands for vehicle speed signal. It no longer stands for sensor. Right? They use it to do the same thing. Okay, here we go. Look at this. That's important. I would love to have this if I was working on one of these. So that little schematic up there is going to be all important. So your fused junction panel, gem, vacuum lines, vacuum shift motor, 2 manual shift levers that shows you how that's piped. You see, second 2-wheel drive vacuum solenoid. Remember this, committed to memory. There will be a pop test on it next week.
What?
Okay, the vacuum control solenoids allows engine vacuum to be applied to the axle mounted vacuum shift motor. What does the vacuum shift motor do? Why is it there? Who knows? It locks in the hubs, right? Locks the wheels in there. That's unbutton my shirt. The vacuum shift motor moves the manual lever that engages and disengages the shift collar inside the axle assembly. Remember what I showed you guys over there on the bench? Got that? Did you see it?
What?
The shaft coming out of the differential on the front has actually got a little spline end on it, and there's a collar on there. And what this thing does is it moves that collar over so that it's actually engaging the outer, you know, going out of the wheel, and it keeps all of this stuff in here from turning all the time when it's not needed. Basically, is what that's for. And there's your indicator lights, whoopee, you know. All right, the all-wheel drive indicator lights and output of the gym. All of these are outputs of the gym, and you know what they do, that's done. Okay, that's the end of that. Now we get to go through our test and see what we got here. Get back here where we can, I'm gonna zoom out because I don't want this thing looking at my nose hairs, even though it does most of the time anyway. All right, here we go. Let's bounce through these tests right here and try to get you guys back in the shop where you can get some work done before lunch. How about that?
Cool.
Yeah, the vacuum control solenoids are controlled by the PCM.
True.
Is that true or is that false?
I'm gonna say true.
What are they controlled by? Come on, you've been looking at this thing.
I think it's ECM.
Hmm?
I thought it was ECM.
GEM, generic
GEM.
electronic module, remember? Yeah. Don't play dumb with me. The 4x4 shift motor relay is a standard ISO relay.
Well,
False, because it's got two relays built into the same box. VSS still stands for vehicle speed sensor.
true.
You didn't hear that last slide?
Signal.
Huh?
Signal.
Yeah, false. That's a false statement. So he's right when he says it's signal. Clutch coil magnetically pulls the armature against the cam coil housing assembly. Remember that? True. Number 5, the 4x4 low indicator light is an output of the gem module and is illuminated when the transfer case is in 4-wheel drive low position.
True.
That is true. Which of the following is not an input to the gem related to electronic 4x4? Throttle position, torque on demand, DTR sensor, clutch pedal position sensor.
The daytime running lights?
Please.
What's
DTR is digital transmission range sensor.
Oh,
So which one is not an input?
work on demand relay.
Yeah, it's an output, isn't it? So you got to be able to read that the right way. Number 7, the torque on demand relay, what? His power side switch controls the clutch coil, is controlled by the gem, all of the above. Right? You got that? Number 8, the vacuum control solenoids activate a 4x4 function inside the transfer case. Directly operate the manual lever that engages and disengages the actual shift collar.
Yes.
Apply vacuum to the shift motor on the axle. What do you think?
Oh, or, no, B.
They apply vacuum to the shift motor on the axle. See, the shift solenoids don't directly operate the manual lever. They actually send vacuum to the thing that does. What purpose does the digital transmission range sensor have in the electronic 4x4 system?
It's an input to the gem to let them know if the vehicle's in neutral.
Very good. That's all I needed to hear. Okay, number 10, the electric shift motor does what?
It switches the transmission from 4 high to 4 low.
Drives drives a rotary cam that moves 1 or 2 shift forks. Got it? Now, was that plumb painless or what? You guys know stuff now that you didn't know before, right? This worksheet right here is a very easy worksheet to do. Doesn't take long to get it off your board. You see this one here where you're checking the preload on the vehicle. And throw the vehicle up, pull the the Ranger, whichever one you want to use, and take the drive shaft out, use the inch-pound torque wrench I'm going to give you, and you're going to measure. But now you need to also pull the wheels and the brake drums off so that you're not having resistance out there. You got me? And that's how that's supposed to work.
What is 10?
So
The rotary cam that engages shift works.
1 or 2 shift forks.